Enough, enough. All right, serious monologue tonight. They say this after every terror attack. Be strong.
This was an act of terror, and a particularly cowardly act of terror. This action was intended to break our spirit. But we also know New Yorkers are strong, New Yorkers are resilient.
Oh, he makes me sick. Those are strong words, but always after the fact. Then they tell us, as always, to keep an eye out.
8.5 million New Yorkers, several million other tourists. That's a lot of eyes and ears in our city. If you see something, say something.
There it is. See something, say something. But if we actually say something, what then? You'll likely be called a bigot. True, we have 8 million sets of eyes, but what good are they if we can't use our 8 million mouths? Since 9/11, we've learned if you make a peep, you're profiling, and that's racist. It's why no one spoke up about the Fort Hood shooter, a known Islamist, or that San Bernardino creep and his wife. This latest loser was interviewed by the feds 2 years ago. His neighbors saw him doing some weird stuff, but nothing was done, maybe because doing something could ruin you. They say don't be afraid to report suspicious behavior. But today, for a media who conflates terror with religion, reporting suspicious behavior is suspicious behavior. So forgive me if strong words bore me. We're handicapped in this fight because the media dictates the rules, which are this. You talk about vetting, you're Islamophobic. If you say you don't want terrorists here, they hear you don't want Muslims. So who's equating terrorists with Islam? It's the media. We talk about who politicizes tragedy most, but the quickest draw in that game are those who scream backlash, as if hypothetical revenge takes priority over actual corpses. The media does it, our leaders do it too. But Trump doesn't. Maybe because he's most like us. He reflects the common sense response to the presence of terror. Not just terror, but the agents of evil that lurks in our midst now. Most leaders speak of terror after it strikes because it's safer then. No, your beliefs on terror matter before, not after. But we are scared. We are fearful of being labeled a bigot. Islamophobia, phobia. It allows radical Islam to be treated differently than other threats. You play down climate change or drug abuse or guns, the media says you're in denial. But if you see radical Islam as a threat, well, you're insane. We talk about how horrible these truck attacks are, but I hate to be a downer. 10 years from now, this might be the good old days. Once we marry terror to technology, forget it. These truck attacks are minor. Worry about what's next. I call it terror change, the upgrades and mayhem based on trial and error. I wish our media cared as much about terror change as climate change. Would vetting help? Well, terror struck on Halloween, a night where extreme vetting takes place all over America. Parents take that pillowcase full of candy, they pour it out, and they inspect it. That's extreme vetting. Good parents vet, so should good governments. All right, let's welcome tonight's guest. He's the mind behind the comic with a mind that is cosmic. His book, Win Bigly, just came out this week. It's a smash! Creator of the Dilbert comic strip, Scott Adams. There she is. She's like a holiday punch, a little bit sweet, and the rest is vodka. Los Angeles reporter Lauren Sivan. She's as grim as my basement gym. National Review reporter Kat Timpf. And the fire department calls him when they're stuck in a tree. Former bodyguard, my massive sidekick Tyrus. All right. Scott, you're the expert of all things Trump. Trump tweets after this terror attack. It seems like the media gets more upset about that than the attack. But what is it wrong for him to speak his mind?
Well, this might be the first example of execution by tweet.
Really?
You know, I think he might actually kill him by making the trial so unfair that he's released in New York City. He lasts 5 minutes on the street. So,
that's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, he has 2 ways to win and no ways to lose. He's either going to get convicted or released. Neither of those are good for him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the tweet contaminates the jury pool. The guy gets out and then he's murdered.
Ideally.
I think that is ideal. Lauren, was it bad to tweet? I always get the impression that he's doing exactly what you would do after a martini. Or at 4.
I put a breathalyzer on my Twitter, and that actually nailed the problem. No more.
Yeah.
Is it bad to tweet? No. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of the president constantly tweeting every thought that enters his brain. But in this case, I do agree with him. You know, at least we're calling it terror right out of the gate. I think that is some progress. I mean, I remember not too long ago, the headline would have been like, Florida man gets in fender bender. You know, they were so careful not to ever.
Yes.
So we are making some kind of progress, I guess. But yeah, we got to go a little further.
Yeah, he came to Halloween as a terrorist. That was his costume.
Right.
What do you make about the diversity lotto? Do you think Trump wants to stop that? Is that bad, or is that opportunistic or political?
Yeah, no, stop that. This guy let 23 people into the country. He's been here for 7 years. I can't even get approved for my TSA pre-check. What is going on? How many 23 people came into the country for this?
That is amazing. Kat, you don't even know 23 people?
Not personally.
Not personally. Twitter people don't count.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't use this when you were dating, a diversity lotto. Why would you do it? That is a great metaphor.
You're in so much trouble.
What I'm saying, how am I in trouble?
You just said you wouldn't use diversity lotto. I'm putting my chair up. We about to have, man.
No, what I'm saying is diversity untethered to merit is dangerous because you don't know what you're getting. And you wouldn't do that when dating, even when you go on Match.com or whatever these young people do.
You can never know what you're getting, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, you know, he was radicalized here.
True.
So we do need to look into that problem and that issue. As far as the tweets go, I totally understand the argument of him not being able to have a fair trial. But I think that was probably going to happen before Trump's tweets.
Yes.
I think that it happened when he killed a bunch of people and then asked for an ISIS flag in his hospital room. Most people were kind of like, I don't really like this dude.
You know what's funny, though? They do sell those flags in the hospital gift shop.
Yeah, it's not like the jury's still out on ISIS or not. Like,
Yes.
we've decided that they suck. That's what we think. A jury of your peers is going to say, if you're into ISIS flags, you suck.
Yes. Tyrus, do you think people are afraid? Like, my point of my monologue is the see something, say something is easy to say, but impossible to follow through on. I've been there when I think I've seen something and I go, but if I say something, I'll be seen as the bad guy.
Right.
Like when I see you, Tyrus, I'm going, but I never say anything. I never say anything.
Did you guys say when I walked in? You know what? It's a lot of it has to do with our culture. When I was growing up, it was snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
And there was this thing where like people don't talk and they keep to themselves, mind your own business. But now with the way things are now, we need to come up. This is the one thing that President Trump does great. He says exactly hey, would President Barack Obama say get the death penalty? No, he would not say that because he knows there'd be backlash.
Yeah.
Donald Trump said exactly what everyone was thinking. And I'm sorry, but your ass not getting a fair trial. You're just not.
Yes.
You used the truck to try to commit mass homicide. Sorry, bruh.
Yeah.
You're not getting a fair trial.
Yeah.
Those people didn't get a fair trial. They didn't get a fair chance. So
somebody-
sorry. And the argument to say that, you know, the president was wrong for saying that, he wasn't wrong. And it just, we've become such a, like, it's not okay to tell. Like, and I go through the same thing. Like, when my kids tell on people, I used to be like, ooh, don't be that kid. And I'm like, no, you know what? That's cool. Tell. It's cool. I'm going to start telling on people. Because if you
But the thing is, no one will know if you're a hero if you prevent anything. I probably prevented 1 million terror attacks. I have no idea. Scott, what should we do with this guy if we don't kill him? Is he some kind of valuable information or a persuasive device we can use?
You know, we don't often get to capture one alive.
Right, yes.
So I say we experiment with our persuasion, deprogramming, you know, as long as it takes.
Yeah, as long as it takes.
He's not going anywhere.
Yes,
we got time.
exactly. We could have a lottery where people can actually get to test him on various things.
or just put him in Gen Pop.
Yeah.
Put him in
Is that a club?
His peers. It could be. It could be.
Gen Pop.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. General population in prison.
Yes.
sorry.
Yes. You know, our audience isn't as street savvy as you.
Yeah, I guess they.
Tyrus.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him in Gen Pop. I'm like, what is that?
You thought it was like an expensive.
I thought it was like one of those
decoration.
bouncy castles.
Yeah. No, it's not.
All right, we got to move on. So much coming up. It's going to blow your mind. Did Hillary Clinton stack the deck against Bernie Sanders? Who needs Russian collusion when you can corrupt your own party? Brazil has had her fill of Hill. A stunning claim by Donna Brazil that the Clinton campaign rigged the primary against Bernie Sanders. Trump was right. Oh, my God. In her new memoir, the former interim Democratic Party chair said she inherited a financial mess when she took over for Debbie What's-Her-Face. And then discovered an unethical arrangement between the Clintons and the DNC. Brazil learned the party was in deep debt, and then discovered a document that showed Hillary's campaign, the DNC, and the Hillary Victory Fund had made a deal, a secret deal. I don't know. That went like this. The Clinton campaign would raise money and invest in the DNC. In return, Hillary would control the party's finances, strategy, and all the money raised. Brazil says that deal was made in August of 2015, almost a year before Clinton had the nomination. Kind of amazing. Even with the deck stacked so high in her favor, Hillary didn't trounce Bernie Sanders in the primary, and his supporters didn't forget.
Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. The Bernie, can I just say, to the Bernie or bust people, you're being ridiculous.
That did not age well. For either of them. Now the irony. Before all this, Brazil was a CNN commentator, and in that role, she sent potential questions to Hillary's campaign. So in this Dagwood Bumstead sandwich of political rigging, Donna herself added a layer of cheese. And all this while Hillary continues on her never-ending book tour, wondering what happened. You know what happened. You lost, and everyone hates you. Even
This one's from Hillary. Oh.
yeah.
It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. You have to admit, dogs just, they don't fail. They're really honest people. Lauren, what do you make of this? I don't know where your politics are, but are you upset at Hillary for what she did to Bernie?
I'm upset at Hillary for what she did to the country. Look, I was one of those people that was like, Trump, shut up about Hillary. Like, she's not the president. Let's all just... But this makes me furious because for the Democrats constantly complaining, like, there's Russian collusion and every American should be furious about this because they're, messing around with our democratic system. And then you have the DNC messing around with our democratic system.
Yeah.
You should be just as outraged as they were. And by the way, how could this not be... This is so much worse than anyone even thought it was.
Yeah.
She came into the DNC, which was a mess, apparently, completely broke, and is paying all their finances. She's like, don't worry, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to start paying off all your debt. I'm going to also change around some staff positions.
Yeah.
It's like one of the contestants on the Bachelor deciding who he gets to date and paying for all the home trips.
You know what she is? She's like Kevin Leary in Shark Tank that comes in and says, I'll take 50% of your company and 25 cents in perpetuity. Nobody watches Shark Tank.
No.
All right. I just learned that now, that nobody understood my metaphor.
I
should have just called him a predatory lender like Jesse did earlier. All right. Scott, this has to help the Republicans because you have a theory that I heard you on a Periscope about why, she takes over and they still lose. This has to help in 2018 and 2020, right, for Republicans?
Well, yeah, it might. And anytime that Trump gets in any problem, he likes to drive her popularity down even lower. So
Yes.
you don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun your other camper. And right now, she's like the standard comparison of all things.
And she can't run fast.
But I'll tell you, I heard that story, and the thing that surprised me was not that she bought a political party, but that the price was so reasonable. I'm starting to shop for one myself. I've got my eye on the Green Party.
Yes, the Green Party.
I think I could have it for $1,000.
You probably can. I think here. I think you can actually raise money on that GoFundMe page, and you can actually buy the Green Party. All right, Tyrus, what would happen? I mean, do you think that this is all about a book? Like, if she didn't have a book, this wouldn't have come out, or I don't know.
This is a well-timed hit. Here's the thing. This drama with the Democrat started with Barack Obama.
Yeah.
He was a star, and the rest of them hate him for it.
Yeah.
And when he left the party, when he became less political for them, they stopped making money. The DNC had nothing. So you're going to go to somebody like Hillary Clinton, to the Clinton family, the Clinton empire, and ask them, they're going to step in, we're going to pay for everything. We all know how that works when you say, yeah, I'll take care of it, Johnny. I'll take your rent. I'll do this. By the way, I'll be in your house too. And my nephew is going to stay here with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take over. They took over. The thing is, like, Hillary has not gone away.
No.
And not only has she not gone away, she started to gain momentum with this feud with Trump. It was getting a base starting behind her that was getting people behind her. I think this was a hit. Like, we can't have her here anymore.
Yes.
The people need to know.
Yes.
She is just as crooked as the accusations that she's making towards Trump and his party. She's the same exact person.
Donna Brazile pulled
But we
the
have
Tanya Harding on Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
The baton is the book.
Because she's no angel.
She's no angel.
She gave questions to Hillary to try to get advantage over Donald Trump. So she's not above getting your hands dirty. The Democratic Party they want her to go away. So this is a way of punching her to try to stop her momentum.
Yeah. I said this before. You can't sell a house until you get rid of the squatters, Kat. You need to catch my drift.
I'm really worried this is going to affect, Chelsea Clinton's run for the presidency.
The funniest thing about this for me is Hillary Clinton this summer was complaining that the DNC never did anything for her.
Yes, that's true.
That's right.
Did you want them to shower for you as well? Because I can't think of anything else they're not doing. But the silver lining is this means that she really did accept blame for her own loss, because she blamed the DNC. Now we know she was running the whole show.
Yeah, that's true. She threw them under the bus while driving the bus. That is not wise. She's got to go. She's like that last pair. You know when you have a cocktail party at your apartment and everybody's gone, but that last pair.
Oh, I thought you meant like a pear.
No, not the fruit.
Oh, the homesteader.
The homesteader.
Hey, bro, you got to go.
They'll offer even to do dishes because they don't want to go home to their horrible life.
Yeah,
it's like no. You can't, this, I know, you got to go because we want to go to bed. And they go, no, we'll help vacuum. Yeah. Get out. Yeah. Go away, you weirdos. You know what? Maybe Hillary got tired of Bill getting to screw everyone. Still to come. Manafort, Gates, Papadopoulos. But enough about my 3 hairless ferrets. The Mueller investigation next.
Gutfeld show.
Manafort is off to court for wads of cash he didn't report. I really am the Dr. Seuss of Fox News. Paul Manafort, former Trump campaign chair, and Larry Mondello look alike. Come on. Don't you see it? You see it, don't you? I see it. Anyway, he was indicted after it was alleged that he laundered money made from political dealings in Eastern Europe. This leads to 2 preliminary hot takes. 1, there is no collusion. 2, there is no collusion yet. Yippee. Still, even though there wasn't a smoking gun revealed, some on the left are adding this nothing pierogi to their all-you-can-eat buffet of reasons to impeach the president, like this ad.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war, obstructed justice at the FBI, and in direct violation of the Constitution. He's taken money from foreign governments. It's why I'm funding this effort to raise our voices together and demand that elected officials take a stand on impeachment. This president is a clear and present danger, who's mentally unstable and armed with nuclear weapons, and they do nothing.
Oh, man. Oh. He was listing all the good points. Meanwhile, that gathering that we told you about last week to commemorate the anniversary of the election of Donald Trump, it's called Scream Helplessly at the Sky on the anniversary of the election. That is happening this week. We got video of participants preparing for the event. I can't get enough of that. So, Scott, you have this one half of the population who are saying, hey, things are going okay. And then you got this impeachment brigade and this Russian collusion. What does it tell you?
The whole thing has become so complicated because, you know, there are new characters every day and all the stories are starting to conflate. And, you know, I haven't understood all of it. A few things I do understand is that Dossier is a Russian drinking game that involves seeing what's the most outlandish thing you can get GPS Fusion to pay for.
That's true.
But everybody gets to, when you have this much confusion, everybody gets to see whatever they wanted to see.
Right.
So it's sort of like I describe it as two movies running simultaneously on one screen. You're sitting in the same theater, you're watching the same thing, but somebody's leaving with that was a great comedy, and somebody else is leaving, that's the scariest movie I've ever seen.
No, it's true. It's like people think that Love Actually is a romantic film when really it's a story of the undead.
Word.
Yeah, thank you, Tyrus, and I'll go to you. What do you make of all this?
My concern, well, first of all, it's pretty irresponsible to come on and make those kind of claims. Like, you can, when Barack Obama was president, the right was, obviously they weren't happy that they wanted Romney, that wasn't their choice, but they didn't go out and do things like that. And that's borderline treasonous. You're making those type of allegations and you're building the stuff, but it just goes to a greater evil that I'm seeing is our country is becoming like the new Cuba. We're so we're so divided. We're so like to the point where like any harebrained idea gets, I think it was like 1.5 million or something like that. People signed the petition or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we've just gotten to the point where you don't need facts anymore in this country. You just can say whatever you want to say and you can get a following and people behind it, and that's dangerous. It's a very dangerous time right now because an idea and an opinion can end up leading to bloodshed on the street, and that's crazy. It used to be people got behind things that were facts. I'm going to die for this cause because I know it's true, and I'm going to fight for civil rights. I'm going to fight for equality. I'm going to fight for the right to freedom of speech. I'm going to fight for things. Now we're fighting for, well, I'm going to say these things about Trump because it sounds good, and people are willing to go fight for his idea because he doesn't like Donald Trump because Donald Trump beat him to become president, and he didn't think of it.
I'm optimistic, though, and Scott, you mentioned this before, that once they removed the masks from Antifa, there was a huge reduction in violence. It's like nobody, once people see your face, you stop breaking the law. So I think that's been a positive thing. I think a positive development. Kat, should we take all of this seriously? Is this just gonna is this like, here's our collusion, now there's your collusion, and forget it? Like, we'll talk about Hillary, then they'll talk about Manafort, and this will go on until May.
Manafort could have just made this all go away if instead of turning himself in, he just said, I now choose to live my life as a gay man. Right? Just like Kevin Spacey did. Apparently some people think that will work.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't a small thing. This isn't nothing. It could, if Manafort was involved in something that was Russia collusion-y, they're going to squeeze him and try to get that out of him. And then there's the two other people. So we're just going to have to wait and see.
There you go. Wait and see. I love that as a talking point on a talk show. We'll just have to wait and see.
I'm sorry. I'm not the FBI. I'm not the FBI.
That's a responsible thing.
You're supposed to lie or make up something. I have a show to do. All right. Lauren, I feel like I'm in the first minute of Law and Order SUV, where I have no idea what's going on. There's a lot of SUV. No, I watch SUV.
Murders only in
That's where they sell used Chevy Blazers, and there's long.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
That's it's so funny. Like you think it's a Chevy, and at the end it's the GMC. It's like
exactly.
Crazy. I love that show.
And Stabler is in the back, just looking blankly and thinking about something horrible in his
past.
past.
No one ever judges the car with the baby seat. They never bust the baby. Oh, it's a baby seat. So that car couldn't have been responsible. Oh man,
but then
we're
in the
right
end,
here.
it is the one with the baby seat.
It is the one with the baby seat, and it's a white architect.
Yes.
Who owned the car? It's always a white architect.
Yes.
I don't know why I just did rabbit ears, Lauren. Save me from my babbling.
Okay, two things. Number one, the billionaire with the commercial about impeach Trump.
Yeah.
I am so jealous of all of his airtime. He is on every 30 seconds. If you're watching any of the news networks, he's on literally, you can see that commercial. Is it a commercial? I don't even know what it is. 3 times in one break.
Yeah.
It must be nice to be a billionaire and be able to buy that much airtime.
Yeah, but he's still unhappy. Go ahead.
I don't know.
He's unhappy. He's sitting in somebody's living room. Clearly, the person doesn't want him in his living room.
He's wearing a denim shirt. He looks like he belongs there.
He's too close to the camera, and that's a little creepy. I'm going to cut you up now.
Never been
I'm going to cut you off because I have to go.
That was creepy.
That was creepy. I have to cut you off. I have a dream that on an ABC Sunday morning show this week, one of their hosts will interview that low-level policy advisor, but they'll do it live in Greece. So I want Stephanopoulos on Papadopoulos at the Acropolis, and I'll be on top of this. That was the worst joke I've ever written, but I was going to do it anyway. Still to come.
Good for you.
The worst ad ever. Even worse than that thing with the talking gecko. It's the worst film I've seen since I cleaned my bathroom tiles. I speak of a campaign ad attacking Republican candidate for Virginia Governor Ed Gillespie. It features a presumably white guy trying to mow down minority children with his truck. You know, something that would get a standing O at Con.
Is this what Donald Trump and Ed Gillespie mean by the American dream? Latino Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
That's amazing. That is amazing. All right, that ad paid for by the Latino Victory Fund was released on Monday. The gist, if you vote for Ed, you want minorities dead. As you pick them off in a pickup truck. Yes, a pickup truck, the most popular vehicle in America, is now the go-to left-wing dog whistle for white bigots. But on Tuesday, the group pulled the ad after the terror attack in New York. Their excuse, given recent events, it made sense to pull it. What total And if there wasn't any doubt that this ad was crap, I showed it to my cat to see what he thought.
Run, run, run! Come on!
Is this what Donald Trump and Ed Gillespie mean by the American dream? Latino Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
All right. Speaking of cats, Kat, you were telling me in the green room you love this ad because you hate children.
Yeah, that's what I said. Look, I love that. And that's gonna only that part's gonna be cut and on the internet somewhere.
Yes, exactly.
The thing is, there's plenty of legitimate criticisms you could make of President Trump. He doesn't really think before he speaks. There's plenty of things you could say. However, and I hope that I'm not sounding too biased towards Trump right now, he's never run over any children with a van.
But what about a truck?
Or a truck.
Or a truck.
I mean, he could, not to, brag, but I don't think any vehicle at all. No children murders. It's amazing.
No children. That's a good thing.
He doesn't need it. He can kill you with a tweet.
that is true.
No fingerprints.
Do you think you're the king of persuasion? Do you think this ad was persuasive? I mean, it looks like Gillespie's numbers are actually going up, so it might have helped Gillespie, not the other guy. But what do you think?
Well, it looked brutally effective for what they were trying to do, because he used the strongest persuasion, which is fear, and the strongest fear is children. It's the most biologically active fear you could possibly have. It was visual as heck, and because it was so inappropriate, it gets played forever.
That's true.
So when you hear them say, well, we decided to take it off, they could take it off because it's going to get replayed forever for free. Why would you pay for what's free?
Yeah, that's true.
Horrible but effective.
Horrible but effective. I've been told that about myself. Hey, Lauren, I maintain that if they stretch this commercial to 90 minutes, it could win at Sundance. Right? It's exactly the message.
I actually thought this was an episode of your favorite show, Law & Order SUV. I didn't realize we were only watching an ad.
Is that technically an SUV, a pickup truck? I'm not sure.
Was it a pickup?
The audience says no.
The audience is like, absolutely not. This girl doesn't even know what a... yeah, no, I mean, I can't say it better than Adam did. It just, all of our fears and instincts are all wrapped up in one beautiful package in that that ad. So it's going to be tough to get it out of your mind once everybody's seen it.
Tyrus, what do you make of this ad?
Well, first of all, how come only the Latino kid got a dad? Everybody else woke up alone. Cold-blooded. What you trying to say about my neighborhood, bruh? I mean, that's the first thing that I picked up on.
Yeah.
The second thing was like, was he really running him down? He just looked like a creepy guy on a drive. I mean,
Yes.
I think the point of this, while they were driving, if maybe they would have hit something like maybe Gillespie was guilty of something like this, like he was in maybe one of his rallies, he was like, I promise a truck in every house for every one of my brothers in the other party to go get minorities. If he said something like that, then I'd be like, oh, wow, that's what he's trying to do. But they can't beat him on substance. They can't beat them with facts. So now they're fear-mongering, which goes all the way back to that was what the bad things, the Klan and other things back in the day that were drove by hate, they used fear. So now you're using fear.
Exactly.
So
and
good luck with that.
Scott,
if it didn't work out with them, it's not going to work out for you.
But fear can work. I mean, fear has worked in ads. You know, but the thing that gets me, and then we've got to move on, the reason for pulling the ad, linking it to terror, is shameless and disgusting because they were pulling the ad anyway. They were pulling it because they were getting so much backlash. But then when the terror attack happened, they go, oh, in recent events, because they both involved trucks. And I'm sure if it was a deplorable driving the truck in New York, they probably would have kept the ad, I would imagine. I bet they felt really bad that it wasn't. I know. But anyway, I don't have that as a fact. I'm just hypothesizing, which is what I do here for an hour. Coming up, how did Trump manage to win bigly? Scott Adams discusses his new book, Win Bigly.